Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and our guests today are Aisha Bukhari and Jamie Austin. They are the co-founders of Talking Stickers. And most people can say that without choking. I apologize. But this is a great technology for kindergarten kind of education. So Aisha and Jamie, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we're thrilled. And you were, or are, or have been Hult Prize finalists. So you attended the Clinton Global Initiative and even met Bill Clinton. Tell us quickly, what was that like?
Sure.
Yep, go ahead.
Jamie, go ahead.
It was an amazing experience. I think just from the day one, just seeing all the people, all the famous people, all the people in the world that are committed to doing social good all in one place was great to see. And then meeting Bill Clinton at the end of the conference was also amazing. And they had really good sessions that really walked through lots of different initiatives that are going around throughout the world, targeting all of the greatest needs. So it was an amazing experience for us all together, and I think we came pretty close to winning, we think, so, which is a shame, but that didn't tarnish the impact and the good time we had at the conference.
Well, Aisha, what did you think? You're a Canadian, I guess, as is Jamie, but was it kind of neat to meet the former President of the United States?
Well, I mean, absolutely. It's one of those things where we always read about him in the newspaper or you see him on TV. And of course, he's been doing such great things with the whole Clinton Global Initiative and the foundation. So it was incredible to meet him in person, and it's just one of those one-in-a-lifetime experiences that we were fortunate to have as a team.
Yeah. Well, it really is an honor for you. I want to be clear that this is a big deal to have been recognized as a Hult Prize finalist. Of course, it's a big deal for me to have you on the show, and I thank you for making the time to do this because we love talking to entrepreneurs who are really making a difference in the world, and we're excited that you would take the time. So, listen, tell us about the problem you see. Jamie, maybe you could take a crack at this first, but what is the problem you see in the world that you're trying to solve?
So I guess the Hult Prize was focused on early childhood education. So within that scope, we focused on vocabulary because we understood that vocabulary is one of the most important things that children can have as they enter primary school. It lays the foundation for reading and writing. So it took a lot of man hours to come up with the idea that we did, but I think for a lot of reading literature as well, but we really got to the point where we identified vocabulary as the most important issue. And there's two big numbers. I guess you've heard the word gap, or you may or may not have heard the story of the word gap, which is that underprivileged children are exposed to 30 million fewer words by the age of 3 compared to their more privileged peers. And that results in a lack of vocabulary, or their vocabulary not developing compared to their more privileged peers. So that's what our solution is focused on.
Aisha, is there anything you want to add as we think about the problem?
Sure. So as like Jamie pointed out, the only thing I would add on top of that is that when we were actually in these communities, so we did 2 pilots in India as well as in Kenya. So one of the reasons that we saw why children lack this vocabulary is that because over 85% of a child's vocabulary consists of words from a parent's vocabulary. And the problem in these communities is that the parents themselves are not very literate. So even though they want the best for their child, they do not have the resources or the capacity to play a critical role in educating their child. And we all know that parents are a child's first teacher. So the problem that we were trying to solve was how can we empower these parents to build the vocabulary for these children, which in the North American world is also known as the word gap.
Well, it is a wonderful challenge that you've taken on, and I commend you for taking that on. So, Aisha, why don't you describe the product you came up with to solve this problem? The talking stickers. What the heck are talking stickers?
Absolutely. So we came up with this idea called the talking stickers, and the idea behind it was that how can we empower parents to talk, sing, and read to their child despite their low literacy rates. And we wanted to design a solution which was play-based because children learn the best through play. So we came up with this concept which we are calling the talking stickers. So literally they are like physical stickers along with a reader that we are calling the Olo reader. So what the children and the parents can do is that they can record and play back sounds using this Olo reader on the stickers. And now parents are able to hear words and then basically talk, sing, and read to their child through the stickers. And because stickers are, they can literally go on any object or toy or whatever it may be, now the child is very engaged and they get to hear the words, they can build stories, and they get to learn.
So, Jamie, how did you come up with this technology? Give us a little bit of the history of the product development cycle and the ideation around this.
So I think one of our first ideas, well, when we got down to vocabulary as being the big issue in early childhood education and empowering parents to be the best teacher and provide their children with the vocabulary they need. Peter, one of our team members, works for IBM, so he has a bit of a tech, he used to work for IBM. He has a bit of a tech background, obviously, so we were thinking about even just like a wearable or something that would prompt parents to talk to their children more. And then at one point, I think we had an idea about using RFID tags that children could scan and hear different words and different vocabulary. But I think the key was we wanted a device that could be recorded in a parent's voice, because the parent's voice is very, very powerful when it comes to children developing their vocabulary. So I think Peter just, I guess he thought a bit about QR codes and how a cell phone can scan a QR code, and that can prompt the cell phone to, traditionally it links to a website, but in our case the QR code tells the device to play an audio file or record audio. So yeah, Peter put it together and came up with the idea of having a sticker that has a QR code that we started off initially with a cell phone app that could scan and record the voices and the songs and the stories. And then we moved to a dedicated device with the help of Autodesk in Toronto. And we have a dedicated device now that can scan and record and play back songs and audio.
Great. So how much does this device cost?
So we've been in discussions. We have a bill of materials. We just talked it over with a few people in the tech industry, as well as we have a strategic manufacturing partnership with DataWind. And the cost estimate that we have is between $5 and $8 US.
Oh, wow. Sounds very affordable. That's exciting. Aisha, what's your vision for this? Where do you think this goes?
Great question. So what we see this, and again, this is based on our pilots as well as what we've heard from different people over the past year, is that we see talking stickers as a platform, as a communication platform. So our first step, of course, is to deliver content which is geared towards vocabulary development for the children and early learning. But beyond that, we see basically delivering content on science, numeracy, as well as other areas of holistic childhood development, so about, for example, like child nutrition, immunization programs. So in the long term, we see this as a communication platform for these parents where they can access all different kinds of information that can basically empower them to take the best care of their child, and they have the resources on their fingertips.
Oh, that's exciting. It's just wonderful. Aisha, Jamie, I want to ask you a couple of personal questions here before we wrap up. You know, as Hult Prize finalists, you really are in rarefied air. I mean, that's a very exciting measure of success. And you're becoming, as a result of that, icons and role models. Let me ask Jamie first, then I'll ask you too, Aisha. But Jamie, who do you look up to? Who's your role model?
So, because we're Canadian, I'm going to have to go with a Canadian, and that's Terry Fox. So he, if people aren't familiar with it, but he ran across Canada raising money for cancer research. I think the reason why I look up to him as a role model just is the dedication, the perseverance, and the execution he had in coming up with his plan and seeing it through, and the lasting impact that's had. So I think it was in the mid '80s that he went on his initial run, and still today the legacy that's there and the amount of money that they've raised is really powerful.
Oh, that is exciting. Aisha, who do you look up to?
Sure. So I guess for myself, I'll talk about a person who has been very close to this project as well. His name is Johan Koss. He is the founder of Right to Play. And I would say, like, the thing that inspires the most about him is the fact that he used his skills and his fame at the peak of his career to do something. So he built this foundation called Right to Play, which serves in over 20 different countries and impacts over 1 million children weekly. So he could have chosen to do whatever he could, but he chose his skill set to make a positive difference. At that time, he did not know how to run a business, but he acquired those skills and he made it happen, and it's been in operation for 15 years. And he works in areas where I guess children need it the most, so in like conflict zones as well, but which also makes it very challenging conditions to work in. So the fact that he has taken on a challenge and made it happen is very inspiring, and it has taken a lot of hard work, and it is not always glamorous. And yet when you meet him, he is so humble and so down to earth. So I would say that is someone that I look up to.
Now that is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just such a great role model, such an inspiring case, and yours too, Jamie. Now, you mentioned something, Aisha, that I think is apropos because it's really my next question for you. You said that she had chosen to do something good when she could do anything. And I'm wondering why you've chosen to do something good when you could do anything.
That is a great question. So I'll maybe share a little bit of the background. So I guess a year ago from today, I knew nothing about early childhood education. But what I did know was that I was very interested in working on projects that make a positive social impact. So that is why I was working in the energy sector in the public space. And when this Hult Prize opportunity came up, it was a good opportunity to try it out. And over the past year or so, what I have realized even more so is that the importance of education and knowledge is that it is one of those early fundamental foundations that it is a gateway. So like once a child has it, it can open up many doors. So it's just the beginning of everything else in their lives. And for myself particularly, I would say, especially like when we were in Kenya for the pilots, and I was only there for 2 weeks, but just even in that short duration of time, like we saw both the parents as well as children learning, and the fact that it can make such a huge difference. So even though I loved my job before I did this, I think I enjoy this even more, and I think the fact that it can make such a huge difference is very satisfying.
Oh, that's great. I love to see that passion for doing good. Jamie, what about you? Why pursue this?
So I have a young child at home, and I kind of see firsthand how important it is for children to have an early child education, and just seeing my son develop his vocabulary just through my wife and I talking to him, mostly my wife, because but since I took on this project, I've been, really all the research I've done has shown how important it is for a child to hear lots of vocabulary even before a child can speak. So we, for that reason, I want children around the world to have all the advantages that my child has, essentially. So I think developing the vocabulary is a great way to get that done.
That is just right on. To be able to hope for other people to have what your son has, that's great. Well, listen, our time is up. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Before we go, Aisha, maybe you could just tell us how people can get in touch to learn more and support the great work that you're doing.
Great, thank you. So the best way to reach us would be through our email, which is www.attollose.com, and we have a contact page as well on there, so you can reach us there, or as well you can reach us through our Twitter handle, which is at ATTOLLOSE.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. We wish you every success in growing your talking stickers.
Thank you so much,
very much, Devin.
All righty. Let's do some good.
Thank you.
Thank you.